because he's not online. Give me a sec here, guys.
Make sure that you sit nice and all that.
Do it now because we're going live on Facebook too.
I just noticed that too, dude.
Yep. You can see
You're
yourself.
rich. You're rich.
Dude, I had an awesome chat today live on Facebook with a fellow martial arts school owner from El Paso, Texas, and it was such a great dialogue. If you're bored and you want to throw away 45 minutes of your life, go ahead and listen to it. It was awesome. It was awesome exchange. There's Nolan, there's Owen, there's Ethan's nose.
All right, thank you.
Christian. What's up, boys? Coach G is in the house. Matthew Scott in the Barker Lounger. Matthew Scott's always chilling in that. Mr. Ryan Bender, what's up, brother? Dude, I like how everybody's sitting up proper. They're starting to get the hang of this thing.
Boys.
Yeah, with 1 week left, you'd think we would have gotten it earlier.
There's a possibility, Kevin, and I'll tell you about it later, that we might want to extend it for 1 extra week. I'll let you know if that comes to fruition.
What? Yeah.
Fruition.
Fruition, not tuition.
Good word, Coach. I love fruition.
Hey, I am a plethora of vocabulary.
Nice. Plethora. Cornucopia of knowledge.
Hey, articulation is a beautiful thing.
Reach on. Reach on, brother.
Well, we'll give folks a few more minutes to join. I see that Coach Myers just joined.
We're going.
You guys, everybody mute yourselves. Except for the coaches.
Set up.
Yeah, I'm not seeing too many videos here, Rob. I don't know if you're able to see video, but maybe
I got
everybody except Owen Radio has their camera on right now. Owen Radio, let's go. Turn that thing on.
I think we got Coach Myers on with us.
Yes.
Yep. Austin will be joining us a little bit later.
All right. So, Coach Myers, can you hear us?
Might have just stepped away for a second there.
No, I'm here. How we doing?
Good, good. How you doing?
There we go.
Thanks for
Give
joining
everybody a couple minutes to get in, Kevin.
Yeah, we'll give folks another minute before we get started.
Good to see you again, Coach Myers. I met you down at the LVYL meeting a couple months ago.
Awesome. Yeah, good to see you guys. Excited to be here with you.
Yeah, thank you. So while we're waiting for some folks, just a little bit about this lacrosse team, Coach. This is a 5-6 lacrosse team out of the South Parkland Youth Association, so part of the Parkland High School, just on the other side of the valley. The kids have expressed interest in learning more about Lafayette, Lehigh, and again, it seemed like a great opportunity for us to connect the dots with the kids and at the same time start creating some inroads within the valley, so we can maybe get some kids down the road at Lafayette down in the future. So, greatly appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I know this is, obviously random and uncertain times, but, learning through things like these has been awesome for me too, in terms of getting on with people that I haven't ever been on with before and being able to just bounce some ideas off each other and share some thoughts. So excited to talk to you guys.
Perfect. A little more about this team. A couple of years ago, they won the Lehigh Valley Youth Lacrosse League Championship. About half of the team that we have, and only about maybe a third of the whole team is actually on right now. But about half of the overall team plays some club lacrosse, whether they're playing for Triple H or Mesa or Headstrong. So I'll probably get to some questions later on about club lacrosse and so forth. But this is a really good team within the Lehigh Valley. They're expected to win the 5-6 division again this year. We've got kids that are on like the Warrior All-America teams. We've got kids on the U.S. national team for box lacrosse. So we definitely have some talented kids that are part of the organization. And again, the opportunity for them to learn a little bit more about you and about the Lafayette program.
Yeah, it sounds great. And I can do kind of Q&A too if you want.
Perfect. So, guys, why don't we get started? What I thought I would do is just a quick introduction here, Coach Myers, and then I know we've got some kids that have got some questions, and I've put together a couple of questions as well. If it takes the kids a couple of minutes to think through their questions.
Sure.
But guys, Coach Myers has been at Lafayette for the last couple of years. I think this was your second year at Lafayette. Before that, I was an assistant coach at Penn, University of North Carolina, Bucknell, Cornell, Ohio State. Ohio State's also where he went for undergrad and played at Ohio State. And another thing that's really cool about Coach Myers is that he actually coaches with his brother the Team USA under-19 team, which is comprised of a lot of top high school talent as well as freshman talent, to represent our country. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that there, Coach, but I figured.
No, all good. All good.
Perfect. Well, why don't we open it up to questions? So does anyone want to ask Coach a question to start?
Looks like Bryson's always Johnny on the spot with that. So go ahead, Bryson.
What are some characteristics you look for in players?
That's an awesome question. I'm sorry, what was your name?
Bryson.
Bryson? All right. Coach there talked about the Team USA thing, and I'm going to start with that because the great thing about the experience of coaching the best players in the world, this is the under-19 team, is that everybody thinks that you're just literally picking the most talented players. And if I could go back in time and speak to myself when I was in 5th or 6th grade, or I was your age, I think what I would want to tell myself is the things that really matter, that coaches care about and that look for, are really just executing the basics and the fundamentals at a super high level, and doing them with pride. We have a term at Lafayette, we use the term unseens, which is like basically code for doing all the little nitty gritty things that don't necessarily get recognized. And so I think, back to your original question, being able to execute the fundamentals and kind of celebrating those details in combination with being a guy that does all like the nitty gritty stuff, picking up ground balls, diving for end lines, things that not everybody enjoys doing, are things that really you want to develop right now as habits, and that are things that aren't out of your comfort zone, that they just come natural to you. And there's a lot of examples of that, but I think what you guys deem as maybe or see in PLL games or think is like super important and cool. Like when we're picking the team for the USA team, we have all the most talented players in the world. So what separates one player from another is really just the basic fundamentals and humility, and guys that really enjoy doing that and that are humble about doing it. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for the question. It's an awesome question.
Awesome. Who's next, guys? Who's got another question for Coach? Matt Kelly. Go ahead, buddy.
What's it like being a coach for a lot of top D1 schools?
It's amazing. Every step of the way, I've learned a lot. Worked for some incredible head coaches, all that have different styles, and working with great players. And what you learn is that, again, you have talented guys, but it's about building, great relationships with the guys and getting to know them and understanding that everybody is different and you're different than your buddy to your left and your right, and kind of what makes you tick. And it's been a lot of fun. Every place is unique and different. I'll tell you what's common about all of them is the kids who, at the risk of sounding cliche, I'm going to say it anyways, and now more than ever as a head coach at Lafayette, the guys who have their orders in line academically experience success on the lacrosse field. Guys that know how to manage their time, guys that are buttoned up in the classroom are the same guys that are showing up early to practice and staying late, and understand how to manage their time and have incredible amount of success more often than not. Those are the easy guys to coach.
Oh, that's great. Who,
Great. Good
who's
question.
got another question for Coach? Come on,
Maybe
guys.
while we're thinking
We'll
about
call you out. Oh, Matt Scott's got one.
There we go.
Do you like coaching or playing better?
Ooh, there's nothing like playing, man. You got to enjoy it while you can. I played for 5 years after I graduated college. I eventually had to give it up. I played for the Boston Cannons, but there's nothing like playing. I love coaching, but there's nothing like putting a helmet on and competing. So enjoy every second of it, my man, because playing the game is what I love. You see this picture behind me. As you guys know, it's a Native American sport. It started, it's the roots of the game that make this game so cool. And it truly is the creator's game, and there's a connection there. If you guys don't know kind of about that, when I was about your age, I read a book called The Creator's Game that really explained where the game originated from, and playing the game with joy and playing the game to have fun and really connecting with it is what it's all about.
Who's got another question? Savita? Oh, there you go. Mr. Bender.
What is a normal practice day at Lafayette?
It's busy. Our guys are in class all day long. We have an academic day at Lafayette between 8 and 4. So kind of like you, they go to class all day and then they come down to the practice field. It depends on what time of year. In the fall, we practice at 6 a.m. Before they start class. And then in the spring, we practice at 4:30. But they also lift, and we also watch film. So they have a full day, which means by the time their head hits the pillow, hopefully they're too tired and they're not scrolling through their Instagram. And they're going to sleep and getting some Z's. But being a Division I athlete is hard. It requires a great deal of discipline and commitment to your craft, and you have to love the game because you're grinding, and you're, like I said, you're going to school all day, and then you're talking about trying to play top 20 Division I lacrosse and get better at your craft. So and those practices are intense. They require you to be in great physical shape, and be at your best every single day. So it's challenging, but extremely rewarding, for sure. And we have fun at practice, but we compete. It's competitive, competing with each other, keeping score in our drills. There's a winner and there's a loser. If you lose, you run. Stuff like that. So developing that competitive gene right now is something that is super important. How many guys watched The Last Dance? Raise your hand if you watched The Last Dance. I know every dad on the call did, that's for sure, but a lot of guys watch The Last Dance. That's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So it was amazing. I'm not a basketball fan, and I liked it anyway.
Follow up with the kids.
What's that?
Was that Coach Kevin?
I was just saying I'll throw that in the notes to make sure the kids watch it after we're done.
Yeah.
Along with the creators game. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Who's got another one? All right, I got one while they think of some questions, Coach. So, Coach,
Go ahead.
if you had to name the most impressive offensive player that you've seen college or pro, and the most impressive defensive player you've seen college and pro, and why?
The best player I've ever seen offensively is Casey Powell. He was my Michael Jordan growing up, and then, or for these guys, maybe LeBron James. I played with him for 1 year with the Rochester Rattlers when I was drafted out of college, and I was like awestruck. He was kind of in the twilight of his career to a degree. He ended up playing for a while after that, but unbelievable. Just the feel he had, eyes in the back of his head. He made everybody around him better. And I think that's what always blew me away about him is how good he was as an offensive player in terms of his skill set. But just if you stepped on the field with him, he made you a better player. Just with his energy, his charisma, his positivity, and just the way he played the game was so free-flowing. But he, by far, I'd say him, and I would add in Michael Watson, who played at Virginia. If these guys could Google those two guys, they would have some fun watching those highlights. Michael Watson was the best dive. Him and Doug Knight at Virginia, the best divers of all time. Defensively, Chris Pasavia at Maryland. He guarded me my senior year, and then we played together on the Cannons. Best takeaway guy. I mean, they don't exist anymore. Athletic, just tenacious, and had that competitive fire and would get after you and let you know about it. And so him and Casey Powell are, to me, two of the best I've ever played with, against, and kind of seen out there.
Awesome. If you guys don't know, Casey
those might not be
Powell has
household names for these guys, but that's the beauty of Google these days, right?
Absolutely. But you know what? The best lacrosse video game out there right now for you guys is Casey Powell. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
If you guys
I've never played it. Is it sweet?
Oh, dude, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a really good game, and you guys can download it. You don't even have to go to GameStop, which isn't open. So download it, man. After you do your lacrosse drills, jump on the game a little bit. It's a lot of fun. You guys will like it a lot.
Love it.
Who's next, guys? Who's next for Coach? It's best you ask a question, or we're asking you. Johnny G.
What has been your favorite school to coach at?
Oh, they've all
That's a
been
loaded
great.
question.
Yeah, they've all been great in their own ways. I love what we're building right now at Lafayette. Tell you guys a story. So I went to Ohio State in 1999, and I definitely bleed scarlet and gray. I was part of the first ever scholarship class to go to Ohio State, and we were not good. But I was drawn to the fact that we weren't good and building a program and underdog mentality. Guys, I grew up in Southern Maine, so I did not come from a hotbed of lacrosse. And I think that's the beauty of lacrosse is you don't need to be from you can be from anywhere. You got a stick, a ball, and a wall. You can be pretty good. Like my man down there that's out there with the backstop during this talk there. That is sweet.
Donald Lorenzo.
Yeah, love that. So we built a winner at Ohio State and went to the NCAA tournament for the first time in program history my senior year. And so I love Ohio State. I loved coaching there. But I love what we're building at Lafayette, and being a Leopard is special. And I think we're recruiting and bringing in guys that are competitive and tough. And I'm loving the Lehigh Valley. So I love where my feet are right now.
Awesome. Who's next, guys? What?
So
all right. For another question out there, because I know Kevin's got a list of about 30. So I got to get anything I have out there first.
Well, you do. You got to get me ahead of time because you have got my list going.
Yeah, I got to jump on you, man. Otherwise, I don't get any questions.
With it.
The question I've got, Coach, is obviously, the seniors this year have lost their spring season. You've also got juniors that we're hoping to make their mark. By the way, Rob, I know this was going to be one of your questions, so I'm going to ask it anyways. Juniors that were going to be looking to leave their mark. Obviously, the summer club circuit is going to push back into late June, July, August timeframe. Just curious, what your perspective is on as a coach now. You've got kids that were seniors this past year. They're going to get an extra year of eligibility. Some of them may be coming back. Some of them might not. I'm just again, when you look at the entire recruiting circuit, how has the most recent situation with COVID-19 kind of impacted your recruiting of these types of kids? And if you had advice for kids that were juniors this year, about that hadn't gotten offers yet, what's the best route that they should be taking as a way of getting noticed?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I could give you an answer that sounds like, sounds great, but the reality is nobody really knows. I mean, I think here's what I would say, and this applies to these guys. Like, everybody's missing out on reps right now. Everybody's missing out on, thousands of reps that they would have if their season was going on, right? And it's really hard. But there's no replacement for just putting in the work. I have club coaches call me and say, how do I get my guys recruited? And I'm like, listen, tell your kids to go out there and get to work and hit the wall. Like, this will take care of itself. Because schools are still going to be looking for the best players. They're still going to be looking for quality kids. And it's not about a club coach promoting you. It's about you putting in the work, those unseen hours that I referred to before, that is going to pay off, and just trust in that process. I mean, we get videos from guys right now, so we are doing some virtual recruiting. But there's no replacement. And I think this logjam will eventually work itself out. But you can't be sitting around on your hands waiting for it to work itself out. You got to get out there and make yourself better and take advantage of this time that, like I said before, build amazing habits and it really improve your game. Become one with your stick, man, and come out of here with an offhand like you never had before. I gave my 8-year-old daughter a 20,000 rep challenge on the wall. I told her she could pick any jersey she wanted, or she ended up picking a Kobe Bryant poster for her room, but pick any jersey she wanted, 20,000 reps in a week. So I'm going to pass that challenge on to this group right now. It started with my brother's 10-year-old in Ohio, in Upper Arlington, Ohio, 20K challenge, 7 days. Okay. So you got to do it in 7 consecutive days, 20K. So it's about 3K a day, right? For 7 straight days. I said, listen, I'm not gonna hold your hand. You gotta get it done. You gotta count your reps. So she had a piece of chalk and she wrote it on the driveway every day, and she did it. And it was a grind. We had a couple meltdowns midway through, but she fought through it and ended up getting a Mamba mentality poster. So my message is just, Coach, there's no magic bullet. I think you just got to continue to be creative and find ways to get better, and trust that this is all going to work itself out.
Yeah.
By the way, Coach, one of the
I can actually hear Matt on the bounce back in the basement right now. So obviously
I love it. Try the 20K challenge, boys.
That's huge. We hadn't gotten that one from our clubs yet, but that's a new one. Actually, I'll throw that out there. Anybody that can do the 20K challenge, I'm going to have to think about what we could give the kids if they hit the 20K.
By the way, Coach, one of those 21 kids that he's talking about is a junior starter midfielder specialized in D-mid at Parkland High School. It just happens to live under this roof. If you happen to be looking for anybody in that class, just saying.
I love it.
Just saying.
My Lauren, my wife, is a middle school math teacher at Springhouse.
Okay.
Did any of these guys go to Springhouse?
My son did, and my younger son will go. Actually,
what's your name?
These guys do.
What's that?
What's your name?
Lauren Myers, Mrs. Myers.
Mrs. Myers.
Oh, that's your wife?
Be careful,
That's
Matt.
a good thing or bad thing. Who is that? Who's saying that?
That's Coach Kelly's son.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who she is.
Thanks.
That's cool.
Anybody got any more questions for Coach?
I got one, Rob. What's the strength and conditioning program like there?
It's a good question. We actually are right now transitioning our guys to a 4-day-a-week strength program starting on June 1st with the goal of the summer to just really get bigger and stronger. I've kind of changed philosophies on, the running aspect of it. I think less is more there, especially in the summertime. You don't have to be in the best shape of your life for fall lacrosse. It's a time where you can put on strength and get bigger and get stronger. And it's really hard to do that when you're, running a lot.
Right.
You kind of have to pick, and so that's kind of what we charge our guys with. And we did it last summer to really move the needle for our program.
Yeah.
We're only 3 days a week when we're back on campus in season. We do like 2 days a week of conditioning, 3 days a week of lifting.
Yeah.
It's an upper body, a lower body, a full body, a lot of Olympic lifts, hang cleans, snatches, squat, stuff like that. But I think the emphasis on getting bigger and stronger, obviously staying lean, continuing to stay lean, but not trying to be in the best shape of your life right now, as opposed to just getting strong is really, you see a lot of changes in guys' game.
Right. Thanks.
All right, guys, any other questions? So I have another question actually about box lacrosse. So you're seeing a lot more of that box influence in college lacrosse days. And I was just wondering, I think at Lafayette when I was there, you guys have a box area as well that you've set up for your equipment. And so just curious, can you talk a bit about the box lacrosse influence? Are you encouraging your guys to play maybe even in the collegiate box leagues if they have that opportunity during the summers and things like that?
Sure. Yeah. Most of our guys are doing jobs and internship stuff during the summer, but the box stuff is massive. We have a box at Lafayette. We're very fortunate. We spend our entire off season and we commit to we call it the LBLL, Leopard Box Lacrosse League. And it's the guys love it. And we commit fully to it for about 2 months. It's just a different skill set. So, if you have a chance to get in the box, it's huge. More touches, tighter spaces, and it really translates to the field game. And we're seeing that in college lacrosse right now. So it's massive, and it's a big part of what we do at Lafayette. And we certainly encourage our guys to carry that over into their own training regimen as well. Some of the best players, obviously, in NCAA lacrosse, come from north of the border. You've seen that Canadian influence on our game for sure. So definitely encourage you guys to get involved with that.
Yeah, we've got about 25 kids right now that are playing box.
Awesome.
We've got a handful of kids that also travel down to Philly and to actually travel around the East Coast playing in box. So it's definitely starting to pick up more of an influence on our team, but you can see it translate into better stick skills, making decisions in very tight spaces, et cetera, out on the field. So
sure.
It's really, paying dividends.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great to hear that you guys are doing that. I know there's box lacrosse going on in the Lehigh Valley and stuff like that. I commend you guys for just being here tonight and being on the call, and the commitment level that it takes to do this stuff is awesome, and super proud of you guys for doing that. And lacrosse is addictive. It grabbed a hold of me when I was younger. Like I said, I grew up in Southern Maine, and it can take you wherever you guys want it to take you, but make sure that you're doing the job in the classroom. I know this online virtual world is hard and difficult, but we talk about getting out of our comfort zone with our guys. Being out of your comfort zone is a good thing. You guys are going to be better because of this. So I hope you guys are all hanging in there through these kind of uncertain times, but the whistle is going to blow again. And what I would recommend is that you're ready to rock and roll when it does.
So, Coach, I have a question for you. None of these kids are going to ask anymore. So the kid, that kid Bailey Wetmore there is an aspiring face-off guy, but he is not a fogo. He wants to be a foe, so he wants to stay on the field. That's one of the things that, even listening to Greg Renlian talk today on our Zoom chat earlier, that he doesn't think college coaches are looking for fogos anymore. They're looking for fosos. They're looking for guys that can stay on the field. They're looking more at the exits. They're looking more at, can he pass the ball and carry the offense if he has to stay on the field? Or if he loses, can he play some defense? With the implementation of the shot clock, how do you see that has changed the game and made that transition from fogo to foso?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a lot of validity to that. I think at the end of the day, possession is king. So you obviously you want the ball, and I think with the shot clock, the face-off still gives you the opportunity to create momentum, make it, take it. So if you have a guy that's dominant like a TD Ireland, you'll take, every college coach in the country would take that. There's no doubt about it. A guy who can face off and then stay on, absolutely, that's awesome too. I think those guys, those Swiss Army knife type guys, are definitely becoming more in vogue. And but those guys are hard to find. Usually, guys that can stay on the field maybe aren't masters of their craft at the faceoff acts. So I think I would say from a college, if a guy's dominant at the faceoffs, but we have to pull him off the field, I'm still recruiting the heck out of that guy until they take the faceoff out of the game. And I would think that every college coach would agree with me on that.
Thank you very much. Anybody else, guys? Because we just had another guest here too.
So did Austin just join as well?
Austin,
What's up, Coach? Long time no see. How you been?
Piff, what's up, buddy? Where are you coming in from?
I'm in Philly. I miss you, man. It's been way too long.
I know. I miss you too, brother. How's the family?
They're good. Everyone's good. Trying to stay healthy, just quarantining. But it's all good. For you guys that don't know, Coach Myers actually recruited me to UNC. One of the first coaches to send me a letter. And then we were together my first 2 years at Carolina.
Wow.
Austin, do you know these little guys on this call?
I know some of them. Bailey, what's up, man? Know a couple of them. I coached them one time out. Was that 2 years ago, Rob?
Yeah, we had Piff out for our winter clinics. He did I think it was like 8 weeks of winter clinics with this particular group in mind, and it was some amazing training off season. These guys worked hard, and he put them through the ringer.
You're not kidding, guys. You don't understand. Austin is one of the best college defensemen to play in the last several years. Was an All-American, won a national championship, total stud, and one of the best people I've ever recruited. So, Austin, it's great to see you, man.
You're the man. Appreciate it.
Wow, that's kind of serendipitous. We got you guys on the call together by accident, and it's that's pretty cool.
Amazing.
Well, what's funny too is how small the world is, because we had Brett Manny on last week, and Brett actually before Brett we had Mike Bender, who's the head coach at Parkland, and before that we had Rob Pinnell on the line as well. And it's just in speaking with Brett last week, it was just funny how everybody was so connected, how he knew everybody. It is really a small world. And next week, Charles Junta joining us, who's a South Philly kid.
Yep.
Played D over at St. Joe's. But again, everybody knows everybody else. And, it's a great opportunity for the kids to learn from some of the best. But at the same time, it really shows them that tight-knit lacrosse community that exists out there that again, everybody knows everybody else.
I commend you guys for doing this and getting these guys on here. I mean, these guys, wow. These guys have an incredible opportunity here. So definitely commend you guys what you're doing here in the Lehigh Valley and certainly out in Parkland. It's awesome stuff.
We appreciate your time, Coach. I mean, we keep trying to bang on these kids' heads and let them know these opportunities to speak to legends that made the mark like you guys. I mean, it's special, and they're not all going to get these opportunities. But so for those of you kids that don't know who Austin is, and Coach Myers kind of stole my script a little bit there, but I'll let him go with that since he recruited him. But Austin, you lived in Roslyn, PA, and went to Abington, right? Before getting recruited to North Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay. 4-time All-American guys. First team All-American. 2-time captain at UNC. ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Drafted 14th overall to the Lizards, correct? In the MLL. Okay. Played for the MLL. Now plays for PLL at Atlas. And he's also drafted to the Wings. So, guys, you guys have no idea, like, just the awesomeness you guys have in these chats. I mean, it's amazing. So, soak it in, boys. Soak it in. So, Kevin, I know I have a litany of questions for Austin.
Well, I was going to say,
I'll let you go.
Before we dive in again, I wanted to thank Coach Myers for joining us. Coach, you're absolutely more than welcome to stay on with us as well if you'd like. We've got Austin until 7, but completely up to you. But again, greatly appreciate your time and your input.
No, it's an honor to be on here with you guys. I'm loving the Lehigh Valley, and it makes me really proud to see you guys putting in the work that you're putting in. And keep your chins up, boys, and we'll be back out on the lacrosse field here soon. So, Piff, great to see you. Love you, brother.
Let's catch up soon, Coach. I'll talk to you.
All right. See you guys. Take care. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
So Austin.
So Rob, I know you've got a litany of questions for Austin. So.
Hey, hold on.
Uh-oh, you got muted out. So we're going to let Austin introduce himself a little bit, talk to you guys about his lacrosse story, his history, when he started, how he fell in love with the game, if he played with any other sports, what drives him now, what he's doing now to stay in shape to be one of the best in the world. Awesome, man. I appreciate and just so you guys know, Austin had to rearrange his schedule today. He really bent over backwards to make this work because he knows about you guys. So, Austin, thank you again for doing that. I mean, it's an honor. So,
yeah, no problem. No problem. Thanks for the introduction. I don't know if you guys can hear me okay. My Wi-Fi is cutting out a bit, so I might have to dial in by phone.
We got you.
You guys, you hear me?
A little choppy, but you're good.
You're good.
Yeah, everybody is.
Look good. Still good.
There you are.
I'm gonna dial him on my phone too, just because it's cutting out so bad for me.
No problem.
Give me 1 second.
Hey guys, well, he's giving you this amount of time. One thing you guys should recognize that everybody that we've spoken to since the beginning of this thing has said the same thing. I keep echoing it to my kids. Watch film. Everybody's saying, watch film, watch film, watch film. We got to make sure we're getting off the Fortnite. We're getting off Roblox. We're spending some time watching film. I mean, you guys have great opportunities here, so let's take upon it. And every person that we've had on here, from Coach Myers to Rob Pinnell, you guys spend 2 seconds on YouTube. You can find 1 million highlight reels of each one of these guys. Let's do it. Let's soak it up. All right, Austin, you ready for us?
I'm back.
Awesome.
You guys can hear me okay?
Yeah. Guys, put your thing on speaker view.
We good?
Yep.
All right, sweet. So, yeah, thanks, Rob, for the introduction. You're getting everybody on here, man. It's impressive. You got all the players coming in. So you guys have a good coach, and Coach Rob and Coach Kelly for setting this up for you. I never had anything like this when I was growing up at all. So just give you guys a background about myself. I'm just like you guys. I grew up in a small, pretty blue-collar town. I started playing lacrosse in about 4th grade. I had no idea who it was. It just so happened that I started playing at the same time. And I met my best friend, Matt Rambo, at the time in 4th grade, which you guys, I'm sure, all know. And it really wasn't – it was more so just about playing and, like, loving the game and just competing with each other. It's kind of how lacrosse has stuck with me. It's more so the friendships. And then from there, it really took off when I got to about the 7th, 8th grade. Coach Kelly, you mentioned Charles Junta. He was on that same team as me and Matt. So that was really the year that it turned serious for me, that 8th grade mark. Up until that point, I was kind of lingering on the lower B teams. And then finally, I kind of hit a growth spurt and turned it around my 8th grade year. And then from there, I was lucky enough to start in high school right away with a super competitive team with a lot of older players. So constantly playing up and like getting beat up on by older brothers, like Matt Rambo's older brother, and older seniors, and hanging around them and learning from them is kind of how, my path really took the next level of getting better, because I was always chasing somebody above me. And then I started getting recruited pretty early as well. And I have to say it was because of playing those older guys. But unlike you guys have a ton of opportunity to watch film and do all this other stuff. Like, I only watched lacrosse when it was on the national championship, and that was really it. I mean, I wasn't really on the computer much. I wasn't playing video games. You would literally catch me and Matt Rambo and a bunch of our other buddies literally just in the backyard, shoes off, playing pipes, right? You had to make 3 passes and hit a pipe to win the game, and that's what we would do all summer long. But from there, I was lucky enough to get recruited, go to UNC, and I got recruited pretty early, so that's going to be another different thing for you. So I was torn, right? So I went to Abington with Matt. It's kind of a funny story. We both started together at Abington, got to the 10th grade, and Matt decided to make a split. So I stayed at Abington. He went to LaSalle. And then it started to pick up with the recruiting. So Matt committed early, went to Maryland. I was like, man, I could probably go join Matt with Maryland. And I was down to Maryland and UNC with my final two. And it was like, do I blaze my own path and kind of do my own thing, or do I follow Matt to Maryland? Obviously, one of the best programs. But I decided to do my own thing with Coach Myers, who was one of the big reasons I went there. But I kind of just trust my gut throughout that whole process. So it was definitely like a nerve-wracking thing. Like, I'm a small-town kid, never even knew what lacrosse was. And now I'm getting recruited to go to college before seniors and juniors in my high school had any idea where they were going to go. So it was definitely like a big growing up moment for me really early on. And then from there, I got to go to UNC, obviously, had a super amazing career. Like, it's hard to say because a lot of people don't go to Carolina because they have all the players in the world and you're never going to play. And that was just even more motivation for myself to be like, I'm going to go, I believe myself and I'm going to give it a shot. I was lucky enough to be a 4-year starter there, 4-time All-American, and obviously win that national championship. But I got to say, one of the more proud things for me being at Carolina was actually being voted a 2-time captain, especially as a junior. So if you can imagine having 50 guys in a room and more than, a fourth of them are older than you saying, we want you to be our captain as a younger guy is a special thing. You don't really get that much. It's very much a seniority game. You look up to your veterans on the team. And what helped me get to that spot was I was very vocal. I was very blunt with my feelings, whether it was good or bad, calling people out when I thought they were doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing, and just being very real with them. Has kind of helped me. And that's kind of set the tone for who I am as a person, just being super blunt, super honest, and very hardworking too, right? So I didn't just get to Carolina just because lacrosse. I had like a 3.5 in high school, was always on top of my homework. I'm not the most book smart, but, obviously if you put the work in, you grind at it, you can have a good GPA, and the same is true in college. And obviously, moving on to get drafted in the pros, and that's been a special experience, but I'll stop for any questions before I keep going there.
Well, before we get into questions, the thing I was just going to harp on here is just, and I know, Rob, I think you brought this up earlier, the consistent messaging, guys, we've had from every single person we talked to is around grades and putting school first. And obviously, we want to focus on lacrosse and skill building and things of that nature, but grades create options, guys. You'd rather grow up and have options in terms of where you go than not have any options whatsoever. And so, Austin, I'm glad you brought that up because, again, that's something that we're definitely trying to harp on with our kids.
Yeah.
School's got to come first. And if you have good grades, you're a great lacrosse player, you're going to have options.
Or even if you're not a great lacrosse player, right? I mean.
Yeah, that's another, yeah.
That's awesome. Right. Hey. All right, so guys, we're going to open it up to questions from you guys. I know Bailey's got one he's waiting on, but we'll see. Well, go ahead, Bailey. Why don't you lead us off, buddy?
What made you switch from the MLL Lizards to the PLL Atlas?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I was actually on the Lizards with Paul Rabel, and I kind of had an inside scoop things were coming. And obviously, trust in Paul as a person and believe in him and have him pitch me the idea about the PLL before it even started, and having known what those guys are working on and their belief in what it was going to be, there was no way I wasn't going to hop on that train, so to speak. It just presents a ton more opportunities. And then this game is a lot to me, but it's not I'm not saying this in a bad way, but it's not everything in my life. So besides from lacrosse, I have a full-time job now that I'm really focused on, and I thought the PLL plus my full-time job would really tee me up for what I wanted to do in the future. And, based on the connections they had with different sponsors and that type of thing. And plus I knew all the other players going over too. I was like, I want to compete with the best. You got to be with the best. So good question, Beth.
Who's got another one, guys? We got Bryson again. Bryson's always got questions. Go ahead, Bryson.
What did you do to be at the highest level for so long?
Honestly, I was just having fun, and fun to me was working out really hard, playing literally all the time, especially, I don't know how many deep holes we have on the call here, but what I did a lot with my deep hole was I was shooting so much, like 7th grade through high school. I was on man up with my long pole. But from a stick work perspective, like it was all ground balls, all shooting, passing. And then I was just more athletic in high school than a lot of the other players. So I honestly didn't focus too much on defense when I was in high school. Obviously we did one-on-ones and loved throwing different takeaway checks, but it was more so just having fun, like loving to do what you're doing. Like I would be out shooting, and yeah, that's considered working out, but to me, I was just like hanging out with the boys and playing lacrosse was fun for me, and that kind of honestly propelled me forward.
Thank you.
Good question. Yep.
Who's got another one, guys? Tishar's a pull, right?
Ethan. It looks like Ethan's got a question.
Ethan, let's hear it, buddy.
When you're like older and when you finish playing lacrosse, are you looking to be a coach?
I coach here and there. I've thought about maybe when I'm older, like past dad level, potentially going back into the college game, and either being, maybe at that North Carolina. But right now I'm kind of focused on my other career. So potentially I like coaching on the side and doing it as something I like to do for fun, rather than looking as like a job for me.
Does anybody know what Austin does for a living, guys? Fill us in, Coach. Tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, so I work for a startup tech company based in Radnor, and what they do is they're a mobile messaging platform for a number of businesses, so they help you more effectively communicate to your end customers. So it's pretty cool. So I'm in sales for them. So I do a ton of cold calls, which is basically reaching out to people, high-level executives, and then pitching them on this idea on how the product could help them. So it's honestly a lot like sports, and it's pretty nerve-wracking too. You get somebody on the phone and you literally have 3 seconds to make a split decision to catch their interest and drive them into agreeing to give you more time. So getting somebody to commit time to you is a pretty hard thing, especially when they have zero idea who you are and you're calling completely out of the blue. But I really do like sales. It's fun. It's just, for me, it's just like lacrosse, and that it's super competitive. It's super quick. There's a lot of wins you get, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm super focused on improving my sales skills and career.
Hey, we didn't get any calls from you at Leading Edge Martial Arts. What's up?
No, not yet.
Yeah, is the figurative word there.
Well, I'm not a high-end executive, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Who's next, guys? Who's got another question for her? Christian, you got a poll in your hand. Talk to Austin. What's on your mind? What can you ask him to get better?
I remember you, dude.
Yeah.
I remember you. What's up?
How do you get better at playing defense, be as good as you are today?
Yeah, I would say it all started with doing a ton of footwork, like I talked about earlier, in high school, I did a ton of shooting with the D pole and just like playing around in the yard. Like if you know how to dodge with the pole, and this might sound counterintuitive, but if you know how to dodge and you know how attackmen are dodging, now you're starting to think like them, right? And then I really started to work on my footwork and foot speed, right? Because then you can kind of, right, you know the patterns that an attackman or a midfield type usually take, right? And now you have the mindset like them, and now you have the foot speed to stay up with them. And obviously the last part's like being really tough and physical, and scaring people away from you so they don't want to dodge at you again. So, I mean, that's what I would say. It's kind of hard to, it's not just one thing, it's a bunch of different things. So I'd say keep the stick in your hand, shoot a lot, dodge a lot with the pole, get comfortable holding it. You know, sometimes it can be pretty awkward with that giant pole in your hand. It's not, you know, the easiest thing in the world. But then, you know, work on your foot speed and different agility drills. But
So Austin, how much practice time do you put in without a stick, since there's so much emphasis on play with your body and not the stick as a defenseman? How much time do you spend practicing without that stick?
yeah, so Tucker Durkin and I have been trying to get out at least twice a week, especially now with the PLL Championship Series coming up, where, you know, it's going to be like you're either rusty or you're not come that time. So this prep time has been a little bit different for me. You know, usually to be honest with you guys, rolling into the pro season, it was more never really with your stick other than wall ball. But now I've been trying to incorporate it because it's going to be such a quick series. You don't really have time to shake the rust off. But that being said, when I was your age, it was always with the stick.
Rob, you're muted.
Who else has a question for Coach? Matt Kelly. He has a pole in his hand. That kid plays a little bit of everything.
Matt down there?
Yeah. Best goalie in the Lehigh Valley, but he'll never play it again.
Oh, stop. Don't even say that. By the way,
Yeah, darn right.
he was,
I can't have.
By the way, we were at Grange today, and he shot for an hour with his pole. So when you started talking about shooting with your pole, that was music to my ears. That's what we did for an hour today.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
What's it like being a STX athlete?
Good question, Matt. It's been really fun. So this is coming up on my end of my second year. I love their gear, and they're great people too to work with. So they've done a pretty good job of. There we go. I got that same hat. No, I love their gear. I love the people at the company. You know, they're pretty forward thinking when it comes to lacrosse, and they're obviously a part of the PLL too. So it's been fun getting to have another little side gig for me. So I had the PLL, I had my job, and then I had the STX. So that's another little fun thing I like to do with them. So it's been fun. And again, like, I don't look at it as a job. It's been more so just like something fun for me to do, creative lacrosse, way to give back, share gear, things like that.
Who's up, guys?
So, Austin, I'll ask a question similar to what I actually asked Coach Myers earlier about the box lacrosse game. But you're now on the wings. Can you tell us a little bit about what led you to try out for the wing? Maybe it was because of Rambo, but what drove you to try out for the wings, and where are you looking to take the box experience?
Yeah, this year was definitely interesting. This is probably the first year in my life that I didn't actually play. So I was on the wings, but I was in the practice squad, so I never actually made an active roster. But the first year when Philly came back, so not this year, obviously the year before, I definitely had a ton of FOMO. Those guys were having so much fun. And I honestly regret not playing that year because they didn't have a great year, and a lot of people got reps, and a lot of the Americans who were playing for the first time were able to get in-game experience. So this year I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. And so it turned out that they had a really great year. So it was definitely learning a lot in practice leading up to the season. But then we started taking off with, a number of wins. And when you're winning, In that type of league, you're really not practicing super hard the night before a game. So it was definitely, I mean, it was definitely a humbling experience. It's totally different game, especially from a defensive perspective. You're not always pressuring the ball. You have to have your hips. You almost give people lanes to go underneath of you. There's a ton of different things. It's almost completely backwards, I like to say. So it's definitely a big learning curve. And the other piece was just to keep the stick in my hand. I mean, I'm in the city. They practice in Voorhees, go over there, shoot. And that was the most touches I've ever had in my entire life. Just passing the ball and shooting the ball. I haven't, like, since I was in high school, I've, like, never shot that much since. Because it's all been just defense. So it was definitely fun. But good learning experience.
Yeah, another reason I asked the question, too, is just because we've got about 25 kids that are in box that are part of our 5-6 team. And we've got kids that play with Crowley down at Penn LAX and with Manny at NX. So again, it's growing. You know, you can definitely see the sticks translate on the field. The kids that have played box. So I'm sure you're going to do awesome, and I'm glad to see you with the win.
Thank you. Yeah, that wasn't an option for me when I was younger. So you guys are lucky to keep playing.
All right, other questions, guys?
So what did you think, Austin, when you saw the MLL brought the Philly Barrage back? You being a diehard Eagles fan, a Philly fan like I am. You and I have connected on that level many, many times. Was there a little bit of you that was like, ooh, that could have been fun?
Yeah, no, I did. I definitely thought it was awesome. I definitely think it's really smart too by them. I think they're going to be playing out in Villanova, which I don't necessarily love, but yeah, I mean, it was like, I wish the Barrage were around. Like, that was a team when I was younger that I looked up to. There we go. But yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely cool. We'll see how it pans out for them. Obviously, this year's canned, but it's definitely cool that the Barrage is back. Anything Philly, you got to support it.
Absolutely. So
tell Paul I said that.
I know we only have about 5 minutes left, and you've been really generous with your time. I know you rearranged your schedule. One question I know, we're 9 weeks into this now, and I know I'm a bit of a slave driver, not quite as crazy as Coach Kevin, but my kids don't get to eat unless they work out every day. But what are you doing right now to keep yourself game ready? And how important would you say having a stick in your hand every day is to these kids?
Yeah, I think for you guys, it's super important. For me, what I've been doing, I've been trying to go on some longer runs. I'm not a big long distance runner, so I've been trying to incorporate a bunch of that. I live right in the city, so I've been running up and down the Schuylkill, going on bike rides, whether it's bike ride, run, or just going on a long walk. It sounds kind of lame, but like doing something active is good. Obviously taking, safety precautions, definitely being in the city. But other than that, I've been doing other things besides lacrosse. Obviously doing lacrosse a couple times a week, and some smaller weightlifting stuff in my room. But I don't have too much equipment, right? So I got like a 30-pound dumbbell, I got a 10-pound dumbbell, a jump rope for my feet, and I got a ladder that I take down to the park to throw the cleats on. So definitely super important to stay active, stay fit. Don't just – I know how easy it is to just binge a Netflix show or go, hours on Xbox or whatever it might be. But definitely try to get it in, get a sweat on, get your mind right, and try to stay focused. And then try to do something else. And I'm not sure if any of you guys – golf courses are open. Ask your dads to go play golf. Go walk 18 holes. I do it. I'm starting to do it every other day now. And you end up walking like 6 miles with a golf bag on your back. And it's fun too. So give that a go. Even you dads on here, get out and get a little walking in. It's not bad. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
That's awesome.
Lucky for you, Bailey will get like 12 miles in because of the way you shoot.
Maybe left and right. That's funny.
Hey man, they gotta recharge my cart when I'm done.
So we have any kids with final questions before we start wrapping up here, guys?
Nothing? Come on, guys.
Oh.
One more, guys.
Who didn't ask a question yet?
Oh,
We're gonna call on somebody there.
Bailey, you on Facebook over there?
What?
You on Facebook?
What are you
Oh,
doing?
there's
over
a question, actually.
Bailey is on Facebook, but he's not on it right now. Hey, all right, here's a question for Austin. When you're not golfing and you're not hitting the wall and you're not running along the Schuylkill,
there you go.
What game are you gaming on?
I'm honestly not the biggest gamer. So I was thinking about getting an Xbox, but I scratched it. It was just at this point where I'm at, I'm just like it would have been too big of a distraction for me. So I do binge Netflix quite a bit though. But no, I mean, got some Golf Clash games on my phone or chess. Actually, I play chess a good amount. Does anyone know Jake Richard on the Atlas Bulls? I play him regularly in chess, which sounds weird and boring, but I like chess.
That's cool. Bryson, you get the last question, buddy.
Okay. How do you keep a routine while traveling for games?
Say that one more time.
How do you keep a routine while traveling for games?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So for me, it's actually pretty interesting. So like I talked about, I work Monday through Friday, and usually I leave Friday. So I either got to go in the office or work from home, and then get the bags ready, have all your laundry done, get your bags packed and out the door, and then you go and you kind of take off for the weekend, right? And it's really important throughout the whole process. Super easy not to drink water. It sounds simple. Like you have to drink a ton of water when you're traveling, especially going on a plane, dehydrate you. And then because you're thrown right into like, you can work out all you want at home, but playing a full lacrosse game, especially in the PLL, like your body can be crushed if you don't take the right precautions. So doing that, getting there, make sure I'm getting the right time to stretch and eat the right things. And then when I get back, make sure I allocate some time to, rehab. And it's hard to do on your own because it is a self-maintenance league. And then start the routine again, right? Now that I'm back in another world with work. But it's good, though. It's a good change of pace for me. It's, I'm jumping around, doing different things and seeing different places. So it's definitely fun. Good question,
Bryson. Coach Kevin, you have anything to say before we let Austin off the hook here?
Well, I was just going to say, again, Austin, greatly appreciate your time. I know you're extremely busy, and but appreciate you making some time in your schedule for us and the kids. Guys, I think he's imparted some great messages, very consistent messaging that we've had from a variety of folks over the last couple of weeks. But again, guys, you got to take advantage of these situations. Having time with someone like Austin, for example, who's been everywhere and been and played at the level that many of you are interested in playing at. Again, you got to take all this in, soak it in, guys, and this is what you should hopefully be learning from. Austin, again, greatly appreciate it. Rob, I know you're friends with Austin, so I'll let you wrap up here before we close it out with the kids.
Hey, dude, I just wanted to say thank you again. As you know, Bailey and I are repping. Bailey, show your colors.
I saw it.
Show me. Got to rep. Hey, man, we wish we could be there at the championship series to cheer you on, but good luck. We really appreciate this.
I'll be watching.
We'll all be watching, and we'll make the kids watch because they'll play Fortnite if we don't make them. But appreciate your time, brother, and go Eagles.
All right, let's go. I'll see you at your tailgate.
Yes.
Fall. Catch up there.
Let's go, bro.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Austin.
Good talking to you.
Hey, can everybody say thank you, Austin?
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you.
Hey, guys, feel free to reach out on Instagram or whatever if you got any questions.
Yeah, everybody give Austin a follow on Instagram. All right, guys.
All right,
see ya.
All right. So, guys, I know we've kept you on for an hour here tonight. We'll just do a quick wrap up. Again, I just wanted to harp on. We've gotten consistent messaging for everybody around grades, putting in the work, motivated.
Absolutely.
But I do want to throw out there that 20,000. I'm not sure why I've got the interference here right now, but that 20,000 wall ball challenge. So I'll tell you right now, my kid's going to be on the wall for the next 7 days, and he's going to get 20,000 in. Who else is going to do it? So we're going to check with you guys next week, see who's able to hit the 20,000.
Bailey's in. Let's go, Bailey.
All right. So, guys, if you're in, raise your hand. Oh, I see Ryan raising his hand. I see the Grancher. I see Matt Scott.
So here's my question, Kevin. I'm going to call some kids out right now. Colin, Christian, and Nolan. Why in the world would your hand not go up and take that challenge when everybody we just listened to told you to push yourself? So why don't you ask that same question again, Kevin?
So who's going to take the challenge?
That's better. I don't see Christian's hand. Christian, higher.
Higher. Put it over your left ear, Christian.
Is he asleep?
I think his screen is frozen. Christian, can you hear us?
No, his eyes just moved.
His eyes are moving.
Christian, talk, bro.
He can't hear us. Oh, he's shaking his head.
He's muted.
Christian, are you going to do the challenge, bro?
He was playing a video game.
I think he was. He didn't hear us.
20,000 reps on the wall between now and the next call. So that means, guys, you've only done 2,000 by next Thursday. You got 1,000 you got to do before you get on the call with Coach Junta. So hope all of you will be here next week. Some of you know Coach Junta. Some of you may not. He's an awesome coach, defensive player at St. Joe's. You're going to learn a lot from Coach Junta. We may have another call coming up in 2 weeks. I would suspect you're probably talking about Kevin in that particular case. No, okay. So I'm sure we'll text about that one then, a separate call. But guys, have a great week. Get the reps in on the wall, and continue working on your studies. And again, I'm disappointed. Obviously, we lost the season. I think about it every single day. I think about you guys every single day. But just because we're not playing on the field doesn't mean we can't get the reps in. So again. Let's do that. Rob, you want to wrap up anything before we leave?
That's it, man. Guys, thanks for joining us. That was fun.
All right.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
See you guys.